Hello students, today we are going to discuss about time value of money. In this we are going to take up present value, effective versus nominal rate, sinking fund factor, amortization, that is loan amortization, and EMI. Present value. What is present value? It is the future cash inflows or outflows is the amount of current cash that is of equivalent value of the present value. Let us understand this concept from a small example. So, for example, there is an investment of say 50,000 which we are doing today. So, it is the current cash that we are foregoing. But this 50,000 will generate returns or cash inflows after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So, when you are generating the cash inflows after 1 year, is the current cash and the future cash that is generated is same or not? So here we take a concept or we take a discounting factor through which we will find out what is the value of the future cash inflows which are to the present value. So at a given rate of interest. This is what we are going to calculate here in the present value. So this process of determining the present value of a future cash flows is called as discounting. So how we discount this? We are using a discounting rate or a cost of capital, or it is also called as opportunity cost. Now, what is the difference between the compound value and the present value? So, when you see the compound value, as we have seen earlier, we are seeing that the sum is getting appreciated. That is, for example, if you take simple interest, say 1 lakh of rupees has been deposited. So, when you calculate simple interest, you will get principal plus interest. That is what we are saying, that it is getting appreciated. But whereas when you are telling about present value, we are going to calculate the depreciating value of the future cash inflows. Okay. Now, in present value, we will calculate if a single amount is being generated. So, what is the formula that we use is PV is equal to FVN. That is, N is the period when you are generating this into 1 by 1 plus I whole power N, where PV is the present value, FVN is the future value receivable at the end of N years, I is the interest rate or discounting factor or cost of capital, N is the duration of the cash flows, where here we have the other formula where PV is equal to FVN into PVIFN. So this PVIFN or I by 1 plus 1 by 1 plus whole power N is the present value interest factor at I interest or I interest and for N. So here this is the formula we use. Let us see one example. So an investor wants to find the present value of rupees 40,000 due 3 years. His interest rate is 10%. So what do you understand from the formula is from the problem is the investor is expecting 40,000 of rupees after 3 years. That is, it is a lump sum amount. So the rate of interest is 10%. So if you see here, the future value that is going to be generated after 3 years, that is FV3 is 40,000, I is 10%, N is 3 years. Now when we substitute, we get for this 40,000 of rupees, you are generating a value of 30,040 rupees. So what do you understand? After 3 years, you are generating 40,000 at the rate of 10%. So that value is equated to the present value by discounting it at a discounting factor of 10%. You will generate 30,000 of rupees. What do you understand here? That 40,000 that is generated after 3 years is equal to 30,040 rupees to the current date. Okay, this is current cash value which is equated to 40,000 after 3 years. So we will see the second case in present values. So earlier we have seen for the lump sum amount. Now we are going to see for the series. That is, cash flows are generated every year. That is first year, second year, third year. In this we have two cases: the uneven cash flows and even cash flows. Uneven cash flows means every year the cash inflows are changing. That is, first year it may be 3,000, second year it may be 5,000, like that. But when we are telling even cash flows, the amount will be same, that is 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, like that for every year. So for this to calculate the present value of uneven cash flows, we are having the following formula. The present value is equal to summation of T is equal to 1 to n CAFN divided by 1 plus I whole power n. So here PV is the present value, n is the period, that is duration of the cash flows. So we take from T is equal to 1 to n. CAFN is cash inflows. So for first year it will be CAFN1, CAFN1, CAFN2, like that. Okay, I is the interest rate or the discounting factor. So you can write, because every year it is changing, we will write like this: CAFN1 divided by 1 plus I whole power n. So let us see one example. So example for uneven cash flows, you can see here 0 year it is 2000, first year it is 3000, second year 4000, third year 5000, like that. Okay, from the following information, calculate the present value at 10% interest rate. So I is given as 10%, that is discounting factor. Then cash inflows are varying, that is 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, etc. So by substituting in the formula, you see that 2000 divided by 1 plus 0.01 raised to the power of 0, since it is 0 year, like that you see for the 5 years. Okay. Now which is equal to, the present value is 18,275. So if you see, the present value is being coming down to 18,275. That is, we are taking the summation of all the cash inflows to the current value. Okay, so this problem can be even done like this also, by tabulating it. So year wise we have taken 0 to 5, then we have put the cash inflows, then present value factor for 10%. If you see, you get 1.909, 0.826, 0.751, 0.683, 0.621. These values you can get even from the present value tables also. So when you multiply the cash inflows with the present value factor, you will generate these values, which is equal to 18,275 rupees. Okay. So similarly, if you see the cash even cash flows, where you see that or the CAFI values are same. So you can take this formula also, where you have the PVA is the present value of annuity, CAFN is the cash inflows, I is the interest rate, N is the duration rate. So in the example, Mr. A wishes to determine the present value annuity consisting of cash flows of rupees 4,000 per annum for 6 years. So here Mr. A is generating 4,000 rupees per annum for 6 years. The rate of interest he can earn from his investment is 10%. So the rate of interest is 10%. So we are asked to calculate the present value annuity. Okay. So here the cash inflows is 4,000, interest rate is 10%, and N is 6 years. So by substituting in the formula, you will get 17,420. Okay. The same problem can be even done like this by tabulating it. So here first column for 1 to 6 years, cash inflows 4,000, which are even. Present value factors we have taken, multiplied present value, how we will get, we will multiply the cash inflows with the present value factors. So we will generate 17,416. So here the value is slightly different because of the changing. So here directly by calculating, or you will get from the annuity tables. present value annuity table the value of this particular discounting factor. That is what I have given, 1 plus 0.10 raised to power 6 minus 1 divided by 1 plus 0.10 raised to power of 6. Effective versus nominal rate. So what is effective rate? It is the rate of interest received on a deposit if the interest on deposit is paid with a variable compounding periods. So what do you understand here is effective rate is the compounding period is different and the rate also is different. Rate of interest is also different. For this you can take the example of fixed deposit that are been given by the banks, where you see that the compounding period is different, that is 30 days, 45 days, 90 days, and the rate of interest also will vary according to the period. So what is nominal rate? Nominal rate is the rate of interest which is equal, that is per year it will be equal. For example, you take the savings bank account where the interest paid is for per year is same, it won't vary. Okay, so what is the difference? The difference between these two rates you can identify in short compounding periods. But when you go for the larger one, that is more than like 1 year or the thing, you will see that there is no difference. So the difference in effective rate is greater than the nominal rate for short compounding periods. So in short compounding periods, you can see the difference between the effective rate and the nominal rate. Generally, the effective rate will be greater than nominal rate. For example, if you take the fixed deposits, it may start for 30 days, it may start with 7% like that. But when we see the bank rate or the for savings account, you will see it will start, it will be 4%. So you can find the difference in short compounding periods, but when it is more than 1 year, you generally see that both of them are equal. So the ERA, that is effective rate of interest, is given by 1 plus I by m raised to the power of m minus 1. So here I is the nominal rate and m is the frequency of compounding per year. So example for effective rate of interest, Mr. X deposited rupees 1000 in a bank at 10% of rate of interest with quarterly compounding. He wants to know the effective rate of interest. So here 1000 is the deposited amount for which the percentage, that is the nominal rate is 10% and compounding is quarterly, that is m is equal to 4. So substituting in the formula we get 10.38 is the percent is the effective rate, but whereas bank is offering 10%. Why this 0.38 variation is coming? Because it is compounding quarterly. Sinking fund factor. This sinking fund factor is the estimation of annual payment so as to receive an accumulated or predetermined amount after a future date. So generally we receive in lump sum amount. So what is this is called as sinking fund factor. So it is given by the formula AP is equal to FVAN divided by I into I by 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. So AP is the annual payment, FVAN is the future value after n years, I is the interest rate, and n is the duration of annuity. Example, financial manager of a company wants to buy an asset costing rupees 1 lakh at the end of 10 years. Find out the annual payments required if the savings earn interest rate of 12% per annum. So here an asset is to be bought with the worth of 1 lakh rupees. So we want to find out the future value at the end of 10 years. So here we want to find out the annual payments that are to be made if the savings earning interest is 12%. So here FVAN is 1 lakh, I is 12% and N is 10%. So substituting we get the annual payments to be 5,698. That is for the period of 10 years we are going for annual payments of 5,698. 698. Loan amortization. So what is loan amortization is, see, generally when we are taking a loan, you are going to pay the installments. Yeah, that is, it can be equal or unequal. So this process of payment of loan in a over a specified period with equal and unequal installments, it is called as amortization. For a loan, it is called as loan amortization. So generally when loan is taken from an external source, you will be paying the interest, okay, for a specified period. So this process is called as amortization, loan amortization. So here we have the formula LI is equal to PA into I into 1 plus I whole power n divided by 1 plus I whole power n minus 1, or it can be given as Li is equal to Pa divided by Pf I Fa I comma n. So this is the present value interest factor at I interest, n is the period. So Li is the loan installment, Pa is the principal amount, I is the interest rate, n is the loan repayment period. Let us see one example with respect to loan amortization. ABC company raised rupees 10 lakhs for an expansion program from IDBI at 7% interest per year. The amount has to be repaid in 6 equal annual installments. Calculate the installment amount. So here ABC company is raising 10 lakh of rupees from IDBI for an expansion program. The rate of interest is 7% and it has to be given out, that is paid back to the IDBI, the loan, in 6 equal installments. So we need to calculate the installment amount. So here the formula is LI is PA into 1 I into 1 plus I whole power n divided by 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. So here the principal amount is 10 lakhs, rate of interest is 7%, period is 6 years. So substituting in formula, we got the value as 2 lakh 9,793.55 is the amortization rate at which we have to pay the installment. Okay. So similarly, if you take the second formula, you will generate the same 2,09,775.54. The variation is with respect to the decimal values. So you need not worry. The total, roughly it is coming as 2,09,800. Okay. So next is equated monthly installments, that is EMI. So it refers to the monthly payment towards the interest and principal amount by a borrower to the lender. So here what is EMI is, it is we are taking the principal and interest towards which the borrower is going to pay the lender the amount. So it is given by the formula EMI is equal to L into I by Im into 1 plus Im raised to the power of n divided by 1 plus Im raised to the power of n minus 1. So here L is the loan amount, Im is the interest rate per month, n is the loan period in months. So let us understand this EMI with an example. Assuming a loan as 1 lakh at 9% per annum, repayable in 15 years. So we need to calculate the EMI. So what is L here? The loan amount, that is 1 lakh. IM we will calculate and N also we will calculate. Okay. So here if you see the working notes, the monthly interest, that is IM, is nothing but annual interest divided by 12 months. So the interest is 9 divided by 12 months, that is 0.75. This is the monthly interest that we are going to pay with the loan amount. Now the number of months, since it is given as 15 years, we are going to find out in months. How many months we have to pay it. So for a period of 15 years multiplied by 12, that is 1 year we are having 12 months. So multiplying we will get 180 months. So substituting these values in the EMI, we are going to generate 1014 rupees 27 paise for 1 lakh of rupees, which is payable every month. So in this, some part of the portion will be the principal and some part will be the interest.